How you doing? I'm Orca, and this is Debra Wilson, and we're on the Star Wars Show. Bye-bye! I'm 43 years old in my closet.
Today on the Star Wars Show, we sit down with Bobby Moynihan and Debra Wilson from Star Wars Tales from the Galaxy's Edge. We take a deeper dive into the music of our Star Wars stories and much, much more. Now, from the safety of their own homes, here's Andy Gutierrez and Anthony Carboni.
Hello and welcome to the Star Wars Show Thanksgiving Holiday Spectacular Parade.
Parade?
Oh yes, all your favorites will be making their way across the screen in giant balloon form.
How?
Oh, all your favorites, Andy. We've got a Kevin the Ewok balloon, a Kitster balloon, even a giant float shaped like Matt Lieb.
Why are you holding your hand up to your ear like that?
It's the international broadcasting sign of a parade reporter, Andy.
Ah.
Yes, that's right, Andy. You won't want to miss a live performance from the cast of the musical Ewoks. All this and much more, including a visit from the Holiday Space Wizard today during the Star Wars Show Thanksgiving Holiday Spectacular Parade.
I don't think any of that is happening. Did you get the right script?
Okay, well, I've spent the last 8 months trapped at home, Andy, so you're gonna let me have this imaginary moment.
Okay. Well, while you're having your moment, I wanted to take a moment to talk about the incredible original music score from our Star Wars stories. Did you know each episode has a completely original score written for every episode?
I did not.
Luckily, we caught up with the composer to find out how he brings the music together for this fantastic online series. Check it out.
And then in just a moment, the North Haberbrook High School Band. They're all dressed like Max Rebo.
That sounds difficult for marching.
Testing 1, 2. I'm happy to score this for you if needed. I'm Jermaine Stegall, and I'm the composer of our Star Wars stories. The composer is the person who adds the musical score to picture. It's not necessarily the songs that you hear, but it's the underscore that's going throughout the series or show or film. For me, it started with seeing the trailer to The Force Awakens. When I saw John Boyega's face pop up, it told me a lot about the fact that there was a reality to creating new Star Wars content and the universe was actually expanding. I was definitely inspired to figure out a way to get close to the DNA of Star Wars, and I ended up finding out that the Sundance Composer and Sound Design Lab was accepting applications, which is held at Skywalker Ranch, and it's such a cool place to work. I ended up applying to that, and in 2016 I got in and was exposed to the amazing legacy of folks that have dealt with the sound of Star Wars since the very beginning. And since then, I've gone up there and recorded a couple scores and just really enjoyed the process of the community of support and artistry there. A typical day is driving to my studio, listening to things that might inspire the kind of work that I need to do that day. Maybe starting off with some musical sketches. I describe my sketches as something that's kind of similar to any artist or painter that might create the outline for what I'm doing first. It's me coming up with the actual purest form of the idea, flushing that out, and then filling all the musical details in later. For me, I'm always inspired by music that's choral in nature. I love gospel music. You know, it kind of is a reflection of my faith, and I'm listening to generally John Williams and gospel every day. That's just my vibe sometimes, you know. When we originally talked about having an original score for our Star Wars stories, we understood that it was by nature a documentary, but I had this idea that it could feel at least cinematic. So the idea of it being related to the Star Wars universe, I thought it could be fun to actually dabble in sounds and thematic material that sounds familiar to the Star Wars universe. So when I watch it and just listen to the story that's being told and think about the characters that we're focusing on and really try to tap into the spirit of that character as it relates to Star Wars. One recent episode that really inspired me dealt with our subject, Brandon, who grew up understanding that as a black male, that his cultural background didn't necessarily reflect the kind of things that people generally associate with Star Wars. And for me, it's a known thing throughout our industry that there aren't a lot of black film composers, but it was fun to just really embrace the idea and the opportunity to create sweeping music that you don't get to write every day anyway for a subject like Star Wars. Advice I might give someone that wants to be a composer is to, work on your craft every single day. One of our greatest masters, John Williams, always talks about a composer's life is a working life, multiple days a week, all throughout the day, whether it be recording musical ideas into your iPhone, sketching on a piano, writing them down on paper, whatever you got to do, a napkin even, getting used to figuring out how you get your musical ideas out, and also figuring out musically what inspires you the most and embracing that, because that really is helping you define the things that are truest to you musically.
It's been a hot minute since either one of us has set foot into Black Spire Outpost on Bat 2, but thanks to ILM X Lab, we can visit Bat 2 anytime we want.
That's right. Star Wars Tales from the Galaxy's Edge takes you beyond Black Spire Outpost to live out your own incredible adventure.
Which is why we called up friend of the show Bobby Moynihan and the brilliant Debra Wilson to talk about what it was like lending their voices to new characters you can interact with in Tales from the Galaxy's Edge.
Watch.
Absolutely thrilled to be joined today by Debra Wilson and Bobby Moynihan to talk about the new Star Wars Tales from the Galaxy's Edge. Welcome, you two. It's good to see you.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Thanks for having us.
You two are no strangers to Star Wars. Obviously, Debra, we saw you in Jedi Fallen Order. Seer, one of the few people to go toe-to-toe with Vader and live. That must have been cool.
I loved every aspect about playing that role, every aspect.
Loved the character, loved the entire crew. It was such a wonderful experience. And then Bobby, you are one half of what I like to call the only functional couple in Star Wars, Flix and Orca.
I like it. I would like to point out that none of my Star Wars characters will ever face Vader.
You don't know. You don't know on an infinite
maybe.
timeline.
I hope they do someday.
This is such a fun experience, Tales from the Galaxy's Edge, because it is literally going to delve into all kinds of different things, stories, mythologies within the Star Wars galaxy, and you two get to be a very big part of that storytelling process. How did you get involved with ILM X Lab and become part of this project?
What it was literally a voiceover audition. It was like, oh, this is really cool. And I really didn't know if I would book it or not. I just knew what I wanted to bring to the table for Taro Rashin. And I knew that it was in development in my mind about what I wanted to do, but in my booth, I wanted to fill that space with the environment and the atmosphere, who I was talking to, why, and all of that. Once I created that environment based on the lines, and my booth was filled completely, and I was no longer in a booth, but in a world, a universe, I knew where to take Taro Rashin. And I knew where she wanted me to take her. And it was based on an audition. And then I ended up booking it. It was...
I mean, I'm just a vocal fan of Star Wars, but I do remember being at Star Wars Celebration at 2019 and seeing the booth where they were doing the Vader Immortal, and I just went over and was like, hi, I want to play, and started talking to as many as people as possible. And then they were like, hey, do you want to maybe work on this game, this Oculus Quest thing? You ever heard of it? And I was like, yeah.
So Debra, tell us about Taro Rashin, who is a very imposing character that we meet very early on.
She's more than imposing. She's imposing, formidable, and a badass. And you meet her early on in this experience before they hit Batuu on this ship, where she is trying to collect a piece of cargo, and she will do anything in order to get it. She's not a great negotiator because she's very powerful, very forceful, and being the head of one of the cells of the Guavian death gang, to hold that position and continue to have that position, there must be blood, because she will do whatever it takes to get what she wants for whoever is supposed to get it, whatever smuggler needs it, whoever has the highest price for it and is willing to pay for that piece of cargo. She will hunt you down relentlessly throughout this experience until she gets what she wants.
And then Bobby, Cecil Slack.
Same energy.
Almost as imposing, yeah.
Same energy, yeah. Will kill you. No. Cecil Slack, yeah, he's the other bartender at Galaxy's Edge. He loves the universe that he is in, and he loves to tell a story. I was told by ILM X Lab that Cecil Slack is a reference to Mo from The Simpsons.
Mo Sislak? That's awesome.
Yeah, getting to develop the character of Cecil Slack was fun. I used to be a bartender for many, many years. Being a bartender for me was obviously the work, but it's also being a people person and telling stories. And there's a lot of idle moments in the cantina. By the way, I just want to say, the second I got to the bar in the game, I tried to lean on it and fell. The bar is not there.
That's what I love about it, is this is the world of Batuu. It's fun that you get to explore a ton of stuff that isn't part of the experience at the parks. It's really fun to see it as like a whole world. It's wild.
This is about, more than anything else, having an experience of a lifetime in which you are fully immersed, and you either do it at the park or you do it on Oculus. It really is an immersive experience for everyone who's ever wanted it, and for the adults to become not necessarily a kid again, but to become childlike in their complete surrender.
Everybody at ILM X Lab, you could tell they were so into it too. Jose Perez was super fun to work with. Jose is the kind of Star Wars fan you want to sit down, have a beer with, and be like, okay, so in, like, you know, get very, very intricate with the Star Wars stuff with him. He's a good guy.
And there's kind of like a fun thing for you in this too. It was very cool for me. Like, we get the first kind of look in motion, kind of all around us in 3D of the High Republic in this.
Yeah, I haven't gotten there in the game yet, and I can't wait, but I've envisioned it every night since I recorded. It's absolutely insane to be a character that goes, hey kid, you want to hear a story about R2-D2 and C-3PO? Like, it's crazy. Like, as a fan, it's so much fun to play in that world. I want to do it all the time, and it's the best.
Debra, Bobby, thank you so much for joining us. If you want to get your hands on Star Wars Tales from the Galaxy's Edge, you can do so now on Oculus Quest. It is $24.99. Head to oculus.com/Star Wars for more details. Thanks, y'all.
Absolutely. May the Force be with you, always.
And also with you.
You're watching the Star Wars show.
My Andy, I just want to say that is a lovely shirt you've changed into for the end of the show.
Oh, this? Well, yes, and it's just so exciting that this shirt is finally available in a multitude of cuts and colors. But it's not just this shirt, there are 2 brand new Jedi Temple Challenge shirts available.
You don't say.
I do say, and if you want to look just as great as I do in my shirt, or as this unnamed model wearing the Jedi Temple Challenge logo shirt online, head on over to shop.starwarscelebration.com right now.
But it's not just these shirts, there's also a multitude of Celebration merch, like this plush Mudhorn egg for all the little Jawas in your life.
And as always, remember to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, like the video, and subscribe to the channel.
Thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.
I play didgeridoo.
Debra Wilson, of course you play the didgeridoo. I love this.
Is this the best Star Wars show ever, where the guests took over the show?
This is where the real interview starts, everybody.